Hello everyone, and welcome to the today's session on wealth creation opportunity in summer portfolio. My name is Monica Chauhan, and I basically cover consumption theme in SBI Securities over the last 4 5 years. And I will be taking you through the today's session on how to create wealth from your summer portfolio. So, in terms of the today's flow, we will first go through the presentation, which will then be followed by the Q&A session. And also for the convenience of all, I will be speaking both in English and Hindi languages, so that all the participants belonging to the different zones of the country, can make the most of the today's webinar. The agenda for today's session is very simple. As the summers have started to approach, there are a few themes that will be in focus as the consumption of these products will likely see a rise. Example in electronics, the usage of ACs, fans, refrigerators, coolers will see an increase during the summer season. Similarly, the consumption of chilled items such as cold drinks and ice creams will also see a rise. Power demand also will see a rise during this summer season as the IMD, that is Indian Meteorological Department, has also predicted above normal temperatures for this summer season. All this should drive sales growth for the cooling products such as fans, air coolers, and ACs. Looking at the summer theme, one can curate a small portfolio where one can invest in stocks belonging to these different themes and create wealth opportunity from these summer stocks. Without taking more time, let's quickly start with the session. As I discussed in the opening remarks, there are few products which will be in focus during this summer season. So, sales of, generally the sales of beverages company which are making these soft and carbonated cold drinks will be in focus. Ice cream making companies, then some consumer durable goods companies which manufactures ACs, coolers, refrigerators, those will be in focus. And as we are using more of these consumer durable goods, then it will also require large amount of power, and so the power companies will also be in focus during this summer season. And also as a lot of schools have summer vacation, so because of that we also see good number of footfalls in case of amusement parks and water parks. Because of that, the theme park companies will also be in focus. Now let's see on segment wise इस इनमें क्या कौन से कंपोनेंट्स हैं या कौन से ये इंडस्ट्रीज या थीम्स के अंदर और कौन से फर्दर चीजें हैं जो फोकस में रहेंगे. In consumer durable companies or those companies which sells these consumer durables, through retail distribution. In that case, AC, refrigeration, fan, and coolers, will see good demand in summer season. FMCG में ice creams हैं, then energy drinks हो गए, and hard drinks and soft drinks, ये सारे items भी अच्छे खासा demand देखेंगे. Then electricity may, power generating companies and power distribution companies will see good sales. And leisure and entertainment industry may theme parks will be in focus. Now as we are talking about the consumption related theme, so let's first discuss what are the some of the growth drivers for the Indian consumption story of India. पहले आता है हमारा urbanization. Urbanization is one of the core drivers for consumption growth in overall country. And as we can see from this chart, urbanization has grown at a very rapid pace over the years. अगर हम लास्ट 10 to 12 years का डेटा देखेंगे तो 2010 के टाइम पे the urbanization rate was at 31%. And in these last 10 to 12 years, it has grown to 36% and in 2022. And going forward also, जिस तरीके से हम infrastructure development देख रहे हैं country में, and जिस तरीके से हमारी Indian economy grow हो रही है overall. All these factors will basically drive the urbanization rate further. And till 2050, it is expected that the urbanization rate of India will be 50%. So because of rising urbanization, जो consumption growth story है India का, that will also grow. Increasing urbanization is one of the growth drivers for the Indian consumption industry. आफ्टर दैट अगर हम सारे इंडिया में जो भी फैमिलीज हैं उनका अगर हम लोग इनकम लेवल देखेंगे या जो कंजम्पशन स्पेंड देखेंगे वो भी ओवर द इयर्स इम्प्रूव हुआ है एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड ऑल्सो इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड दैट दिस इनकम लेवल विल ग्रो. सो बेसिकली ये चार्ट में अगर आप देखेंगे तो द हाउस होल्ड्स आर डिवाइडेड बेसिस द डिफरेंट इनकम लेवल्स. सो पहले हमारा आता है लो इनकम लेवल ग्रुप, देन मिड इनकम लेवल ग्रुप, जो फर्दर आप लो मिड इनकम में एंड अपर मिड इनकम ग्रुप में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, एंड देन इज द हाई इनकम ग्रुप. सो बेसिकली लो इनकम ग्रुप में वो फैमिलीज या हाउस होल्ड आते हैं जिनका एनुअल इनकम है बिटवीन 1 to 2 lakh रुपीज. So those families or those households come under the low income group category. Then in your middle income category are the families or households which are generating or which are getting annual income of between 5 lakhs to 30 lakh rupees. And then higher income category में आपके वो families आते हैं जिनका annual income है 30 to 35 lakh rupees per annum. सो व्हाट डज दिस चार्ट एक्सप्लेन्स अस. सो अगर आप देखेंगे 2022 में जो लो इनकम हाउस होल्ड का जो कैटेगरी है उसका जो ओवरऑल जो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है हमारे हाउस होल्ड का बाय इनकम लेवल, उसका 12% हमारा लो इनकम कैटेगरी में था. और गोइंग फॉरवर्ड बाय 2030 एज पर द इंडस्ट्री डेटा दिस लो इनकम ग्रुप लेवल इज गोइंग टू रिड्यूस टू 6%. एंड सिमिलरली अगर आप मिडिल इनकम का कंट्रीब्यूशन या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन देखेंगे तो लो मिड इनकम ग्रुप is expected to reduce from 50% in 2022 to 38% by 2030. And similarly upper middle income group जो है that is going to increase. So जो भी shift है from low income and low mid income वो शिफ्ट आपको देखने को मिलेगा अपर मिडिल इनकम ग्रुप लेवल्स एंड हाई इनकम ग्रुप लेवल्स. सो अगर आप ये चार्ट में देखेंगे अपर मिडिल इनकम ग्रुप का जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है इन 2022 इज अराउंड 33% एंड दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू इंक्रीज टू 46% गोइंग फॉरवर्ड बाय 2030. एंड सिमिलरली इन केस ऑफ हाई इनकम ग्रुप ऑल्सो जो अभी एट प्रेजेंट 2022 के टाइम्स में अराउंड 5% है ऑफ द टोटल हाउस होल्ड्स, दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू इंक्रीज टू 10% बाय 2030. सो ओवरऑल अगर आप देखेंगे तो हमारे इंडिया का जो इनकम लेवल है वो ओवरऑल इंक्रीज होने वाला है और उसकी वजह से जो कंजम्पशन है दैट विल आल्सो इंक्रीज. सो दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल शिफ्ट विच इज हैपनिंग ऑल ओवर इंडिया इन टर्म्स ऑफ इनकम एंड कंजम्पशन. Then the next growth driver is the number of households which we are having, या आप कह सकते हैं इसको न्यूक्लियराइजेशन ऑफ फैमिलीज. सो ये चार्ट्स आप बेसिकली देख सकते हैं कि नंबर ऑफ हाउसहोल्ड्स ओवर द इयर्स हमेशा इंक्रीज हुआ है. एंड अगर आप ये ग्रोथ को जो नंबर ऑफ हाउसहोल्ड्स का जो ग्रोथ है इफ यू विल कंपेयर दिस ग्रोथ विद द रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, सो दैट इज वेरी मच हायर. सो व्हाट डज दैट डिनोट कि जो पॉपुलेशन जिस रेट पे ग्रो हो रहा है उससे कई ज्यादा ग्रोथ जो हमें देखने को मिल रहा है वो नंबर ऑफ हाउस होल्ड्स में है. सो इसका मतलब है कि पॉपुलेशन इतना नहीं बढ़ा है बट जो नंबर ऑफ हाउस होल्ड्स हैं वो बढ़ रहे हैं. सो दैट मीन्स जॉइंट फैमिलीज कम हो रही हैं एंड उसकी वजह से न्यूक्लियराइजेशन ऑफ फैमिलीज इज हैपनिंग. सो अगर हम इंडस्ट्री डेटा को भी फोकस करें तो द एवरेज हाउस होल्ड साइज हैज रिड्यूस्ड फ्रॉम अराउंड 5.3 मेंबर्स इन 2001 to 4.2 members in 2021. And this is further projected to reduce to 3.9 members by FY30. सो जो न्यूक्लियराइजेशन है जो पहले इतने सारी फैमिलीज एक साथ रहा करती थी अभी उसमें आप जनरली देखेंगे कि वो डिफरेंट अब एक स्मॉल फैमिलीज अलग अलग हाउस होल्ड्स में अलग अलग हाउसेस में बेसिकली रह रहे हैं. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द नंबर ऑफ हाउस होल्ड्स इज इंक्रीजिंग and when the number of households increases the overall consumption also increases of the families. So this is one of the another growth drivers for the Indian consumption industry. Now after discussing some of the growth drivers for the Indian consumption story, now let's focus on the market outlook of some of the themes which we discussed in the initial slides. So first is a fans market outlook. So अगर आप overall fans का market size देखेंगे तो historically it has grown at a CAGR of approximately 12% from around 5,690 crores in FY15 to 13,875 crores in FY23. सो जो ओवरऑल अगर आप मार्केट साइज देखेंगे वो अभी भी बहुत ज्यादा है, एंड इन फ्यूचर ऑल्सो इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू ग्रो एट अ CAGR of 7%. So by FY27, the industry expects that the growth in the ceiling fan market will be at 7% CAGR. So definitely, when the industry is growing, then the companies which are there, which are into the business of making fans, so उनमें भी अच्छा खासा ग्रोथ देखने मिलेगा. एंड अगर हम डिस्कस करें कि टॉप कौन सी कंपनीज हैं जो फैन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हैं, सो इन इंडिया देर आर सेवरल कंपनीज विच आर इनटू मेकिंग फैंस. सो जैसे क्रॉम्पटन है, हेवल्स है, बजाज इलेक्ट्रिकल्स है, उषा है, ओरिएंट इलेक्ट्रिकल्स, RR Cable, and some other small players. So if we take a look into the market share of these different companies which are into the fan making business, then Crompton is currently having the highest market share of around 23%. So this data is of FY23, but अगर हम FY23 के numbers में भी देखें, so Crompton is the largest player in the fans market in terms of value. And then Havells उसके बाद है जिसका market share है around 19%. Then Bajaj Electricals and Dusha have the same market share of 14% each. After that, Orient Electric has the market share of 12%. RR Kabel, which is a recently listed company in the consumer durable space, that is having a market share of around 3%. And जो दूसरे similar छोटे players हैं, whether listed or unlisted, उनका जो market share है पूरे Indian fan industry में is around 15%. सो ये था एक ब्रीफ में फैन का मार्केट आउटलुक. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द इंडस्ट्री और ब्रीफ मार्केट आउटलुक ऑफ द इंडियन रेफ्रिजरेशन एंड एयर कंडीशनिंग इंडस्ट्री, जिसे हम शॉर्ट फॉर्म में RAC इंडस्ट्री कहते हैं. सो इस चार्ट से अगर आप देखेंगे ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ ये बेसिकली चार्ट है इंडियन RAC सेल्स का, रेफ्रिजरेशन एंड एयर कंडीशनिंग के जो सेल्स हुए हैं इन वैल्यू टर्म्स ओवर द इयर्स कैसे रहे. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि हिस्टोरिकली ऑल्सो जो सेल्स है वो अपर ट्रेंड में रहे हैं, एंड आगे भी एज पर इंडस्ट्री डेटा the sales of these RAC equipments are going to see a good rise. So ये इससे हमें पता चलता है कि आजकल के ज़माने में जो भी मिडिल इनकम ग्रुप है उनका जो एयर कंडीशनर का जो पहले हम इसे लग्जरी मानते थे, बट अभी दिस इज नॉट लग्जरी एनी मोर. So because as we saw in the previous slide, the purchasing power of families have increased, and also because of the erratic climatic conditions in India, it is very essential. The ACs have now become an essential part for the every households. So the same story is getting depicted in the chart as well. So आप देख सकते हैं in terms of sales in FY18 में जो total RAC का sales था वो था around 14,800 crores, and in FY23 that has increased to 25,200 crores. And going forward also ये जो trend है वो increase ही होने वाला है, and it is expected that the Indian RAC market will grow at a CAGR of 15.7% in value terms by FY28, and it will likely touch a total RAC sales of about 52,400 crores. सिमिलरली अगर हम डोमेस्टिक सेल्स इन नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स के ट्रेंड्स अगर देखेंगे तो उसमें भी आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं कि इन टर्म्स ऑफ डोमेस्टिक सेल्स ऑल्सो इट हैज इंक्रीज्ड ओवर द इयर्स. So around FY18 में the total domestic sales volumes of RAC was around 5.5 million units, which has grown to 8.4 million units in FY23. And it is further expected to grow at a CAGR of 12.1% by FY28. And it is expected that जो total RAC sales volumes हैं, it will reach to 14.9 million units by FY28. So this shows that जो overall Indian RAC industry का sales है that is going to increase. Now, one more factor, behind this high growth in the Indian RAC market is that the currently India's RAC penetration in the Indian market is very low. So this chart basically shows the RAC penetration in between different countries. So ये जो रेड हाईलाइटेड बार है उसमें आप इंडिया का पेनिट्रेशन देख सकते हैं. सो द पेनिट्रेशन ऑफ RAC currently is extremely low in India at around 8%, and this is in fact very low as compared to the various developed economies and as well as the global average also. सो ग्लोबल एवरेज का जो RAC पेनिट्रेशन है दैट इज अराउंड 42%, एंड इंडिया का उसके कंपैरिजन में अगर हम देखेंगे RAC पेनिट्रेशन इज हार्डली 1/5, एंड जो लार्जर डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज है उससे तो काफी ज्यादा कम है ही, बट जो ग्लोबल एवरेज है उससे भी काफी ज्यादा कम पेनिट्रेशन है RAC products का इंडियन मार्केट में. So because of that, as we see that India is becoming one of the emerging economies, and हमारा इंडियन इकोनॉमी ऑल्सो जो है वो काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग बन रहा है ईयर बाय ईयर. एंड लुकिंग इनटू ऑल दोज इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स, अगर हम RAC पेनिट्रेशन देखें तो वो काफी लो है. सो अगर इतना अच्छी इकोनॉमी इतना फास्ट डेवलप होने के बाद भी अगर RAC पेनिट्रेशन इज 8%, सो जस्ट इमेजिन अगर हमारा इकोनॉमी और स्ट्रॉन्गर एंड फास्टर ग्रो करेगा तो इंडियन जो RAC पेनिट्रेशन मार्केट RAC पेनिट्रेशन जो है वो और ज्यादा ग्रो होने का चांसेस है. सो this low penetration of RAC offers tremendous growth potential for the companies which are there in the RAC market. Now, as we talk about the RAC market, let's now see which are the key companies that are into this market and what are their market share. So, Indian RAC market में basically जो top companies operate करती हैं वो है Voltas, Daikin, Havells, LG, Hitachi, Blue Star, Samsung, and various companies are there in the RAC market. And उनका हम अगर market share देखेंगे तो currently Voltas is leading the market share. It has a market share of around 19% in the RAC market. Which is then followed by Daikin and Havells, as both these companies have a market share of 12% each. After that, LG has a market share of 9%, Hitachi has a market share of 8%, Blue Star का market share 7% है, and Samsung, Haier and CMI have a market share of 6% each. Panasonic has a market share of 5%, Godrej has 4% market share, and while rest companies, which are either listed or unlisted companies, those are having a market share of around 6% in the Indian RAC market. And apart from this, there are a few companies which also which also sells the RAC components or the RAC as a whole to various OEMs, that is original equipment manufacturers. So or some part they also design and develop on their own. So अगर हम both ये ODM and OEM market में देखेंगे तो जो इंडिया में सबसे ज्यादा मार्केट शेयर है वो करंटली अंबर एंटरप्राइजेस का है. Other than that, the next highest market share is with PG Electroplast, then is with EPAC Durables at around 24%, and then remaining companies have the around 7% market share. So these are the top companies or top players in operating in the RAC industry. Now, as we talk about the consumer durable goods, that will indirectly lead to high power demand also. So, ये तो हम सब जानते हैं कि समर सीजन में पावर डिमांड बहुत हाई होता है, बट देन लेट्स सी सम ऑफ द स्टैट्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री. सो हियर अगर हम पावर डिमांड देखेंगे इन टर्म्स ऑफ गीगावाट्स ऑफ India as a country. So here you can see that during the period from the end of December month till the month of June July, you will see that the power demand is generally at a very peak. So यहाँ पे हमने 3 different red boxes chart किए हैं. So यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं that the graph line is higher during these months. So as for example, in case of 2021, one can see that from the end of December month of 2021 till June July of 2022, there was a high power demand. Similarly, then during December 2022, from the end of that month till June July month of 2023, there was a very high power demand. Then in August month also, जो पावर डिमांड था वो ज्यादा देखने मिला, जैसे 241 गीगावाट्स पावर डिमांड था, एंड देन इन सितंबर इट वाज 240 गीगावाट्स ऑफ पावर रिक्वायरमेंट. सो दैट वाज बिकॉज mostly if you will recall the monsoon behavior last year, so July saw very high monsoons, and after that for 1 or 2 months it was kind of very dry. So because of that also you will see that during the August and September month the peak power demand was very high. एंड अगेन अगर हम ये साल में देखें तो दिसंबर 2023 के बाद से जनवरी एंड फरवरी मंथ में अगेन जो पावर डिमांड है वो इंक्रीज हो रहा है. सो दिस इज हाउ वन कैन सी दैट हाउ द पावर डिमांड इंक्रीजेस ड्यूरिंग द समर सीजन. And also India is world's third largest power producer, although it has a low per capita consumption of around 1/3 of the world average. But because of that, it provides huge opportunity for growth in terms of power sector. If we take a look, also sustained economic growth has driven power demand in India, and going forward also, due to the unlocking of demand from increased rural electrification and rapid urbanization, as we saw in the previous slides, these factors will basically drive the demand for power going forward. Now, after discussing all the, touching the brief of the, consumer durable goods companies, and how the power demand increases during the summer season, let's now see how it exactly, reflects in the financials of the company. So, now coming few slides में we will be talking about how the sales of few consumer durable companies, or ice cream making companies or power companies, how the quarter 4 and quarter 1 of these companies show higher revenue contribution. Because generally, sometimes what happens is, although the summer season starts from March onwards, but because of channel inventory, to just fill the channels with all the required inventories, Q4 में भी आप अच्छा खासा sales देखने को मिलता है. So here in this case, we have taken sales numbers, quarterly sales numbers of few companies. So, for example, the dark blue line graph, which you can see over here, is for Havells. Then a red one is for Crompton Greaves Consumer. Green one is for Bajaj Electricals. Purple is for Orient Electrics. Light blue is for Symphony, and then orange line graph is for V-Guard. So यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि Q4 2022 एंड फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ऑफ FY23 पे जो टोटल सेल्स हैं, ये दो क्वार्टर से सबसे हाईएस्ट रेवेन्यू जनरेट होता है फॉर दिस कंपनी, बिकॉज ये दोनों क्वार्टर्स जो हैं वो पीक समर सीजन वाले क्वार्टर्स हैं. सो अराउंड 56% of revenue was generated by all these companies on an average between the period of fourth quarter of FY22 and first quarter of FY23. And similarly, for this recent quarters also, if you can see, then on an average, 53% of the revenues came from these two quarters, which is fourth quarter of FY23 and first quarter of FY24. So ये trend ऐसे ही रहता है for all the quarters. Like if you will club the sales of fourth quarter and the subsequent first quarter of their financial year, then both these quarters will have the highest sales contribution. Similar is the case with other themes, like here we have taken the case of those companies which are making ACs and refrigerators. So here also the trend is same. We have taken here the case of Voltas, Blue Star, Johnson Controls, Hitachi Air Condition, Amber Enterprises and Whirlpool. So इनके चार्ट से अगर आप देखेंगे तो यहाँ पर भी सेम स्टोरी है. ड्यूरिंग दी फोर्थ क्वार्टर एंड फर्स्ट क्वार्टर, you will generally on an average see sales of between 55 to 61% coming from both these quarters. Then in case of few other companies, like companies which are into the retail distribution, like unlisted players में जैसे Vijay Sales हैं. Then in listed peers, there is Electronic Marts India and Aditya Vision. So these companies have their retail stores where they sell electronic goods. तो इनके भी ऐसी कंपनीज पे भी हम फोकस कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज ऐसी कंपनीज के केस में भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो फोर्थ क्वार्टर एंड फर्स्ट क्वार्टर में जनरली हायर नंबर ऑफ सेल्स जनरेट होता है. सो ऑन एन एवरेज sales of between 55 to 58% comes from both these quarters for these retail distribution companies as well. Then similarly for ice creams, milk and beverage companies also, like here we have plotted a few examples of beverage companies. So one player is Varun Beverages, one pure play ice cream making companies is Vadilal Industries, then few dairy companies like Heritage Foods, Parag Milk, Dodla Dairy, as these companies also manufacture ice creams to some extent. And then United Breweries being the beer making company, so beer sales also increases during the summer season. So अगर हम इनके भी चार्ट में देखेंगे तो सिमिलर ट्रेंड है. So in the fourth quarter and first quarter, these companies generate sales in the range of 54 to 58% of their total sales. So this is how one can see that how as we know that sales of their products increases, but in terms of their numbers also you can see that these companies make high sales during the first quarter and fourth quarter of their financial years. Then in case of power generation and distribution, also same story. Here we have taken cases of NTPC, Power Grid Corporation, Adani Power, Tata Power, NHPC, JSW Energy, Torrent Power, SJVN, NLC India, and CESC. So here in these companies also one can see that on an average between 51 to 54% revenue is generated from the quarter four and quarter one. And then lastly, in case of theme parks, also, as I said, that as most of the schools have summer vacations during the summer season, so because of that, a lot of families travel to theme parks. They visit various amusement parks and water parks. And in the listed players, there are basically two top players, that is Wonderla Holidays and Magica Entertainment. So here in this case, in fact, one can see that बाकी सारे जो भी थीम्स और कंपनीज हमने डिस्कस की उनके कंपैरिजन में इनफैक्ट थीम पार्क्स जो कंपनीज हैं उनमें ये कोरिलेशन बहुत हाई है. सो बेसिकली यू विल फाइंड दैट ऑन एन एवरेज 61 to 80% ऑफ देयर रेवेन्यू कम्स फ्रॉम दी क्वार्टर फोर एंड क्वार्टर वन. Then after seeing the correlation between their and quarterly sales numbers, now let's also see how the stock price of these consumption summer related consumption companies behave during the summer period. So here, firstly, in case of VGuard, one can see that here we have plotted the chart for last 10 years from March 2014 onwards till March 2024. And here one can see that during the peak summer periods, like starting from the month of March till June, July, one can see that there are little rally one can find. So on an average, if we compare these months historically, so for example for 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, if we compare the price performance of this company during these months, then we will find that on an average, the price of this company gains between 8.2 to 8.3%. So on an average 8% का रैली जनरली हम इतने जो समर के जो महीने हैं उसमें हमें देखने को मिलता है. Similar is the case with other companies like Varun Beverages. In case of Varun Beverages, if one will just try to do some analysis, one will find that during these peak summer season like April to June, July period, one will see that on an average, the stock price of Varun Beverages gains between 12 to 16%. So this happens almost in every year. So in 2021 May also we saw gains on an average 12%. Then in case of 2022 also it was the same story. Then 2023 में भी similar gains देखने को मिला था. तो from this chart one can see that summer season में generally ये सब कंपनीज के स्टॉक प्राइस भी रैली करते हैं. Same as with Tata Power. Tata Power also during the peak summer season, you will find that on an average the stock price of Tata Power rallies between 6 to 7%. Then in case of Imagica Entertainment also, one can see that between the period of March, May and June, the stock price on an average rises to 12%, and in the recent summer seasons it has also gone up 36% also. So this is how the stock price of different summer theme related companies behave during the March to July period. Then after this was some of the analysis on the summer theme. And now let's see which are the preferred companies within these themes. So these companies will benefit not just because summer being their seasonally favorable quarters, but also because of the steps the management is taking to harness the growth potential in the Indian consumption story. So we will see which are the top companies in all these different themes. So firstly, in consumer durable and retail distribution, our first preferred company is Amber Enterprises. So basically Amber Enterprises, जैसे हमने पहले भी slides में देखा था कि is into the business of making air conditioners, non-AC components, and is also one-stop solutions for the RAC industry. And in the RAC market, it has a market share of around 29% in FY23, and it serves over 20 OEM and ODM customers, including some popular brands like LG, Hitachi, Mahindra, Daikin, Blue Star, etc. एंड ओवर द लास्ट 5 years में अगर हम कंपनी का सेल्स एंड पैट देखें तो इट हैज ग्रोन एट अ CAGR ऑफ 27% एंड 21% रिस्पेक्टिवली. सो दैट्स अ वेरी you know strong set of growth which the company has shown over the past 5 years. And going forward also, the company is anticipating improved margins and ROC levels for the next few years. Also, if one will see, the company is taking diversification efforts by supplying components to room AC customers and also supplying components for telecom, smart meters, automobiles. So this way, the company has good growth potential going forward. So one of our preferred pick in the consumer durable space will be Amber Enterprises. Second one is V-Guard. V-Guard is the largest player in India for voltage stabilizers. And almost 15% of the company's revenue from stabilizers comes from the room RAC segment. So अगर किसी को RAC segment में या AC segment में कोई company देखनी है तो one can look at V-Guard. The company is also looking at scaling up its premium portfolio to drive margin improvement, especially in case of fans, water heaters, and kitchen appliances. And it is also looking at increasing the in-house manufacturing of these products. So that will also aid margin improvement for the company. Another company is Havells. It is a leading FMEG company and a major power distribution equipment manufacturer also with a strong global presence. And the company has basically five brands, which are Havells, Crabtree, Lloyd's, Standard, and REO in different product segments. So, the company going forward will be focusing on improving its margins, and it is also focusing on its RAC exports under its Lloyd's brand, for which it has set up a subsidiary in US also. And going ahead, margin improvement is expected in the company due to improving operating leverage benefits and softening raw material cost as well. So one can also look at Havells. Blue Star is another preferred pick. It is a manufacturer and seller of air conditioners, air coolers, water purifiers, commercial refrigerators, and chillers. And it has an all India market share in room ACs of 13.8% as of December 2023. And the company is targeting to achieve a market share of 15% on a pan India basis by FY25. Also, the order book of the company is very healthy at 5,787 crores, and the margin outlook for the company is also stable with stable pricing environment in the RAC industry. So one can also look at Blue Star. Then another retail distribution companies like EMI, that is Electronic Marts India, is also one of our preferred picks. It is the fourth largest consumer durables and electronics retailer in India. It has more than 6,000 SKUs, among which large appliances categories like ACs, refrigerators, and washing machines account for around 44% of the store revenues. So EMI एक बहुत सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स रखता है अपने स्टोर्स में, बट अराउंड 44% दैट इज मेजोरिटी ऑफ दी अप्लाइंसेज जो हैं वो लार्ज अप्लाइंसेज है, जिसमें आपके एसीज, रेफ्रिजरेटर्स एक्सेट्रा इंक्लूड होते हैं. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस समर थीम, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्मार्ट इंडिया विल ऑल्सो बी इन फोकस. At present, the company has about 147 stores, and it is planning to add 30 plus stores in FY25, mostly targeting Delhi, NCR, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana region. And if we look into the recent performance, then the latest same store sales growth of the company has stood at 13.4%, and the balance sheet of the company is also very healthy with a debt equity of 0.3 times. So fundamentally, the company is very decent. Then another company in the retail distribution is Aditya Vision. It is a service-oriented electronic retail chain in Bihar and is also engaged in trading of consumer durables of all kinds. And if we take a look into the historical performance of the company, then the company has made a profit CAGR of 87% and a sales CAGR of 24% in the last 5 years. And it also has a strong ROE track record of 55%. So fundamentally, this company is very good. This particular company is also planning to open about 25 stores per annum and is targeting to open 200 stores by the end of FY26. The company has also done some fundraising activities whereby it has raised 280 crores for its long-term growth and working capital. So these top six companies are our preferred picks in the consumer durable space. Then in FMCG, we will prefer Varun Beverages. It is one of the largest franchisees of PepsiCo in the world, and it produces and distributes wide range of carbonated and non-carbonated drinks and packaging drinking water under the trademarks owned by PepsiCo. ये कंपनी के भी अगर हम प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ देखेंगे तो ओवर द लास्ट 5 years दिस कंपनी हैज ग्रोन एट अ CAGR ऑफ 47% इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉफिट. और ये कंपनी के भी जो ROE का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड रहा है वो बहुत ही हेल्दी रहा है. सो इट हैज जनरेटेड एन ROE ऑफ अबाउट 30% ओवर द लास्ट 3 years. And the company is also consistently delivering healthy growth over the quarters. If one will track this particular company, then you will find that over the quarters the company has given decent growth. Also, the company had expanded its capacities for the summer season. So around 45% extra capacity will be there during this peak season to support the growth. So in this summer season, volume growth is likely to continue in the company, and EBITDA margin is also likely to stabilize at around 22%. So if anyone want to see any particular FMCG company within this consumption related theme for this summer, then one can look at Varun Beverages. Then also in case of ice cream making company Vadilal Industries, one can also focus. So it is into the business of making ice creams and frozen desserts, and it is an 111-year-old ice cream brand, and it is a top three ice cream brands in the country with more than 150 different flavors. And this particular company has also delivered good profit growth of 44% CAGR over the last 5 years. And one will find that the stock price of this company has already started to see a good rise from the last 2 weeks. So जो बेसिकली हम आज के सेशन में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं अबाउट द summer portfolio and finding out the right summer stocks. So one will see that the share price of Vadilal Industries is also already started to rally because of the summer season and high ice cream demand. Then another one is United Breweries, which is into the business of making beers. It markets its products under the flagship brands of Kingfisher and Heineken, and it has a strong market share of more than 50% in the Indian beer market. And as usually industry-wide, the sales of beers also increases during the summer season. So United Breweries is one of the companies which is going to benefit in this summer season because of that. And if you will see, then the volumes of the company have also recovered in the last 2 quarters. So in the coming summer quarter also, we expect United Breweries to post good numbers. Then within the electricity theme, our top picks is NTPC. It is into the generation and sale of bulk power to state power utilities. And apart from this, the company also has some other businesses like consultancy, project management, energy trading, etc. But 91% जो company के revenues हैं वो आते हैं from energy generation. And if you will take a look into the company's business, the company has an ambitious target of 60 gigawatts of renewable capacity by FY32. And the current capacity of the company is around 3.364 gigawatts capacity. And around 15 gigawatts of renewable capacity target the company is having for FY26. And apart from this, the company is also planning to add 16.8 gigawatts of thermal capacity, which is in addition to the 10 gigawatts of under construction thermal capacity. So the company all in all has robust thermal assets, which provides healthy cash flow visibility also in the company. So one company in the power space is NTPC. Then another one is JSW Energy. It is also engaged in the business of power generation. It has healthy business model, steady cash flow generation, and around 85% of the company's capacity is under long-term power purchase agreement. So that also renders high cash flow visibility in the company. And in the last 5 years, the company's profits have grown at a CAGR of around 98%. So that's a very high growth number that the company has reported over the past 5 years. So one company is JSW Energy. Another is Tata Power. It is in the business of generation and transmission and distribution business as well of electricity. And this particular company is aiming to produce electricity completely through renewable sources. So as we can see that the current buzz in the market is of hydrogen and renewable energy sources also. So if one wants to play bet on the renewable energy theme, then one can take a look into the Tata Power. And इसमें भी अगर हम लास्ट 3 years में देखेंगे तो कंपनी के प्रॉफिट्स 133% CAGR से ग्रो हुए हैं एंड सेल्स हैव ग्रोन एट अ CAGR of around 24%. And lately the company has won 2 transmission bids of rupees 2,300 crores in the last quarter itself. So Tata Power is looking very good in the power sector. Then another company is CESC Limited. It is a part of RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, and it is India's first fully integrated electrical utility company, having about 2,140 megawatts of generating stations, which meets bulk of the power requirements for Kolkata and NPCL license area. Also, the company is looking at exploring green power initiatives. All these will drive good growth potential for the company. It has also emerged as the highest bidder to acquire 100% stake in Chandigarh Discom. And the company's 95% plus capacity is currently tied up under long or medium term power purchase agreement. So That also gives healthy cash flow visibility for the company going forward. So in the power sector, as we discussed, NTPC, JSW Energy, Tata Power, and CESE Limited are our top picks. Then finally, in leisure and entertainment industry, Imagica World is one of our preferred picks, which has its flagship theme park Imagica, as well as Imagica Water Park in Kapoli. It also has Imagica Snow Park, which is India's largest snow park with real snowfall. And if you will see, in the company level, then it has recently acquired four operational parks, which includes two water parks, one amusement park under the brand Wet and Joy, and one devotional theme park, Sai Teerth, for a total consideration of rupees 630 crores. So these acquisitions are in line with the company's goal to combine all park businesses into one entity and emerge as a leading name in the entertainment sector across India. And also, the company is expecting to bring in a total of 2.8 million footfall and around 400 crores of additional revenue, with an EBIT of more than 175 crores because of these acquisitions. So, these recent acquisitions will definitely drive growth for Magica World going forward. Another big player in this theme is Mandala Holidays. It is one of the largest amusement park companies in India. It operates amusement parks in Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Kochi, and also owns and operates a resort in Bangalore. So this particular company has focused on asset-light business model, which will aid in improving turnover ratios. And अगर हम ये कंपनी के सेल्स एंड प्रॉफिट्स देखेंगे, तो पास्ट 3 इयर्स में कंपनी के सेल्स अराउंड 45% CAGR से ग्रो हुए हैं, एंड प्रॉफिट्स अराउंड 17% CAGR से. एंड रिसेंटली कंपनी बेसिकली दो पार्क्स कमर्शलाइज करने वाली है इन कमिंग ईयर्स, जिसमें से एक ओडिशा पार्क है, विच इज करंटली अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन and is expected to open in later half of the May month of this year. एंड बेसिकली ये जो ओडिशा पार्क कमेंस होने वाला है इन आफ्टर फ्यू मंथ्स, दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू एड अराउंड 5 to 6 lakh ऑफ फुटफॉल्स. And it is expected that it will generate an average revenue per user of around 600 to 800 rupees. Also, Chennai Park is also in progress for this company, and this particular park is expected to open in second or third quarter of FY26. सो नेक्स्ट 2 to 3 years के लिए ये दोनों कंपनीज में अच्छा खासा ग्रोथ एक्सपेक्टेड है. तो इफ वन वांट्स टू look into the summer theme, then one can also focus in these two companies in leisure and entertainment theme. So this was all about the summer theme, and how you can focus into the companies which are into or different consumption themes, where the because of the summer season the sales of these companies are likely to grow. So अगर किसी को शॉर्ट टर्म में प्ले करना है या मीडियम टू लॉन्ग टर्म एक पोर्टफोलियो बनाना है, तो उसमें लुकिंग एट द समर सीजन वन कैन क्रिएट अ पोर्टफोलियो, अ स्मॉल पोर्टफोलियो ऑफ stocks, whereby one can invest in companies belonging to these different themes, where usually quarter four and the coming quarter have are the seasonally best quarters for the companies. So that's it from my side, and with this we can now open the floor for Q&A session. So किसी को भी अगर आज के सेशन के ऊपर कोई क्वेरीज है, कोई डाउट है, या किसी को फर्दर अंडरस्टैंडिंग या इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए अबाउट हाउ टू क्रिएट द समर पोर्टफोलियो, then they can put their questions in the chat box and we will be happy to take them. So a lot of questions have been asked in the beginning of this session, and one will see that we have already replied, our answers in the chat box. So Still further, if anyone wants to ask any queries regarding the today's session or how to build their summer portfolio, one can put their questions in the chat box. So one person has asked about idly how many stocks. So Mr. Harish has asked how many stocks should be held in a portfolio. So generally it depends on what is the size of your portfolio. But then personally suggest that it should not be more than 15 to 20 stocks in a portfolio for a portfolio size of about 20 to 25 lakhs, because because you have to periodical basis you will have to track your portfolio as well, in order to churn your portfolio. So if you will have a large number of stocks, like generally we see that in case of a few clients, they have around 40 to 50 stocks, or sometimes even 100 number of stocks for a portfolio size of 15 to 20 lakhs. So that will not make any sense, because in a larger time frame there are hardly a few bunch of stocks which generally lead the total returns of your portfolio. So decent size will be between 12 to 15 stocks for a portfolio size of 15 to 20 lakhs, or maybe for 10 to 15 lakhs as well. So, Mr. Kamla Sekran has asked how much percentage can we have RSC stock in the portfolio. So, basically, it depends. So, as of now, as we are talking about the summer portfolio, then in summer portfolio, one can purely focus into these particular themes which will run in the summer season, like your FMCG. In case of FMCG, few beverages companies that we discussed, and power companies, and your leisure and entertainment industries, and consumer industries. So because the larger pie in all these summer theme is of consumer durables, so maybe you can invest around 25 to 30% you can invest in consumer durable goods companies, and rest between FMCG, electricity, and leisure and entertainment industry. If you are only creating a portfolio of summer portfolio, but otherwise also, like if one wants to keep these particular stocks in their long term portfolio, which comprises of different sectors as well. So there also, like depending upon the which particular company you are holding, one can invest around 10 to 12% of the total holding in the RSC stock. But this particular session is from the summer portfolio theme itself. So because of that, if you are creating a separate portfolio for to play out the summer theme, then you can have around maybe 25 to 30% of your portfolio skewed towards the consumer durables space. So someone is also asking about HUL and Godrej within the FMCG space. So although HUL and Godrej does not have any summer theme, to play in the portfolio, and that is why we have not included these particular stocks in today's presentation. But overall, so HUL is likely to see some muted growth going forward, because in terms of prices, because the commodity prices are easing, so price growth is very rare to happen in the company in the coming times. Also, volumes are not growing that much as was expected. So the rural growth is also still lagging, and because of this, HUL might trade little in a narrow range. So view on HUL is little weak at present. Godrej Industries might do well, because in the latest quarter, out of all the FMCG companies, Godrej was one of the companies which posted good numbers. Also, The company has done some recent new launches within its home insecticides category. So, home insecticides category is one of the biggest revenue driver for the company, and because of the new coil which the company has launched in the latest quarter, that is likely to give good growth to the company. So, I think at the current juncture, maybe Godrej will be a better pick than HUL within the FMCG space. Still, anyone have any questions regarding this session, or any specific company related or industry related queries for this summer theme? One can continue to ask in the chat box. So, someone is asking on Power Grid Corporation whether to buy that company, whether to buy that stock. So, if we see, then Power Grid is a Maharatna CPSU company. So fundamentally, the company is good. And if one also want to receive regular dividends, and this particular company is also has a good dividend yield. Currently, it has a dividend yield of around 4%. So it is a decent company within the power space, and one can also look into this particular counter. So yes, fundamentally, one can buy Power Grid Corporation. So someone has asked about Tata Consumer. So yes, Tata Consumer also gave decent numbers in the latest quarter, and we have our within out of all these quarterly results which were declared in for the December quarter within the FMCG space, Tata Consumer's numbers were good, and the growth story for the company is looking better. So maybe one can invest in Tata Consumer. One can buy it on a gradual manner, this particular stock. So again, one participant has asked about the future prospects of Hindustan Unilever. So I will just briefly again mention. So the near-term, short-term prospects for Hindustan Unilever look slightly weak because one is because of the easing inflation and easing commodity prices, the company is not able to increase their prices of the products, and because of that the price growth cannot be there for for the coming quarters, and in front of that the volumes are also not showing that much of good growth, and the rural consumption or the rural FMCG growth is still lagging the urban growth. So because of that, overall growth story for the company looks slightly weak. So within the FMCG space, I think current times are not good to buy Hindustan Unilever. Maybe after a few quarters performance, as the company's performance improves, or the rural growth story will basically be a watchful thing. And once we see some recovery in that, maybe we can take a look into the into HUL to invest. So, someone has asked about NHPC Limited, whether to buy this particular stock at current levels. So, if you've seen to the latest few quarters' performance, the company's growth have slightly hindered, and I believe that in the in this particular space, like in energy generation, etc., all these stocks which we discussed will remain our preferred pick. And maybe NHPC Limited, we don't think that at the current juncture it is good to invest, because the last few quarters performance is not great. In fact, on a TTM basis, also if we see, then the performance is slightly weaker from the FY23 levels. So there is some margin contraction. The growth has also reduced. So right now, our topics within the power space will be what we discussed in the webinar, like NTPC, JSW Energy, Tata Power. Maybe one can look into these stocks rather than NHPC at current levels. Also, a lot of people are asking about Suzlon Energy's prospects going forward. So, the prospect for Suzlon Energy looks quite decent. If you look into the recent performance, the performance of the company has been very great. The latest quarter numbers were also, the company reported a very good growth, and the company is also having a target of to grow its capacity, wind capacity, to 100 gigawatts by 2030. And the increasing trend of using renewable source as a to generate power, so this particular company can remain in focus for some time. It also has healthy order book position currently, and is having some large orders in its order book. So prospects for Suzlon Energy looks good. But one will also have to take into account that the stock price of the company has already rallied a lot. So, in terms of valuations, it appears a slightly premium. But yes, if the risk reward matches with your risk appetite, then one can look at Suzlon Energy. We will take questions for another 2 to 3 minutes, as we are already approaching our time. So, again, once if someone is having any queries regarding the today's session specifically, then they can put their chat box. We will remain in live for the next 2 to 3 minutes. So the recorded version will not be available, but if you want to just go through this session once again, then this particular session will remain in the YouTube channel. So one can go through the entire session once again if they want, from our YouTube channel. This video particularly will remain in our channel over there. So, friends, we have already approached our time, and as I can see that there are no further queries on, typically on the current webinar, the session. So, with this, we will conclude our today's session, and I will once again thanks everyone for joining our today's session, and I hope one can make the most of by attending it. Thank you, everyone. Have a happy trading. Have a happy day ahead.